In this video, we are going to learn how to use the search and the find functions in DAX. And we are going to use this short table. It's actually not that short. It has 306 rows. And in the first column, we have, well, actually, this is a table, a sales table. So we have in the first column, the store names and the respective city names. So for example, in this first row, it's the Everett store in Washington. And in some cases, the city and the store may have the same name. In this case, this is a Shanghai store in the city of Shanghai. So I believe you got the point. And the second column is the transaction quantity per store, per location, of course, in a given time period, and the respective sales amount. Pretty simple table just to help us understand how to use those two functions. So I'm going to load it in Power BI. You already know how to do it. If you don't, please go back to our previous lessons, and especially our Power Query Foundations course. We teach everything in detail there. So please go back and watch the entire course if you still don't know how to load data into Power Query and Power BI. So I'm going to load it and we'll be back in a second. Okay, I have loaded my table in Power BI. And look, if I take a look at the table view, I can see my entire table, and you will see that, like I said, we have the store names and the city names. And suppose you own all the stores in Washington, in the state of Washington, and you want this, like I said, this data set has only 306 rows, but it could very well have thousands or maybe millions of rows. And what I want to do here, I want to spot my stores, and suppose you own the stores in Washington. And to spot only the store names and cities in which you see, for example, Washington, you are going to use the search or the find functions. Let's start with the search function. I'm going to add a new column, and in this new column, I'm going to call it test. And I'm going to use the search function. And the first thing to inform as a first argument to the search function is the text or piece of text that I'm looking for. So I want to spot the rows in which I have Washington. I want to identify among all of those rows which ones have Washington as part of the text, because I want to spot my stores, right? And as a second argument, of course, I have to inform in which column I'm going to look for that piece of text. So I'm going to look for this string, Washington, in this column, the sales location column. So my second, let me press Shift Enter so I can have more space. I'm going to look for the sales location column in the data table. Of course, I only have one table, the data table, okay? And the third and fourth arguments, I'm going to show you the third argument in a second, but I'm going to skip the third argument and go directly to the fourth and last argument of this function. If you want to skip the third, you can give it a space or only add a comma to separate the second argument from the third argument, and then again a next comma. So I'm jumping to the fourth and last argument of this function. In this case, the last argument is just the number that you want to be informed, they want to be returned in case your text is not found. So for a given row, for example, here in Burlington, Wisconsin, of course, you don't have this text, you don't have Washington there. So this function is going to return you an error if I just, for example, if I don't inform any more arguments and I just click enter. So you see that I have errors in each row. So I have to complement it. And like I said, I'm going to leave the third argument blank for a second and go to the last argument. And in the last argument, it's going to be a number that I want Power BI to show in case I don't find Washington in a given row. In this case, I want 0 to be returned in the rows in which I don't have the text Washington. Okay, and there we go. Now you see that for the rows where I have Washington as part of the text, I will be returned a number, and I'm going to explain why this number. And for the ones in which I don't have Washington, I will be returned a 0. And I could also have another number, say 9999. And in all the rows in which I don't have Washington, I will be returned a 9999. In this case, let's make it just 0, and it's going to work fine. And the number here, for example, the number 9 means only that Washington, this is what I'm looking for, this word, this text, Washington, starts in the ninth position, starting counting from the left to the right. So if you count Everett, Washington, this first E is number 1, first position, V second position, E third, 4, 5, 6, 7. The space in between also counts. So 8, and Washington starts, the W starts in the ninth position. Okay, so that's what the 9 here means. In this case, Clay Elam Washington. So the W that is the beginning of the Washington string will start at the 10th position from left to right. What if I use the third argument? Let's learn what the third argument means. The third argument means the position from which you want to start counting. Well, actually not from which you want to start counting, but from which you want to start seeing the text. Let's make it easier. Instead of Washington, say I'm looking for only for a T, only for a T. And of course, if you start, let's use the first row as an example, the first row as an example. If you look for a T, the first T will be in the first position, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth position. Okay, so the first T will be the sixth number, right? So you can see that this is 6 because of course T will be counting from left to right. It's going to be the 6th number. If instead I use a 6 here, it's going to start seeing my text from the 6th position. So position 6 is this T. It's going to start looking from this position 6. In this case, it counts the position 6 inclusively. So in this case, if I use the 6 here as my third argument, it's still going to count as 6 because the first position that is being seen, it also counts. So if it's counting from the first T, this is the position 6, so it's still counting. But if I change it to 7, so now it's going to count, it's going to see my text starting from the 7th position. And there you go. And you can see that now it's counting 7 because 7 is my first T starting from the 7th position. If I use, for example, an 8, we know that the 8th position is the space here in between Everett and Washington. But now it's going to look for the next T from the starting position. In this case, the starting position is 8 because I so determined. And now you can see that the T that it's counting is the last T in the 16th position because this is the first T that I have right after position 8, which is the space in between. But you will see that the positions are counted from the beginning, because you might think that because I'm starting from position 8, which is the space in between, you could think, okay, so I'm going to start counting from the 8th position. So 8 would be 1, then W would be 2, and then from now on, I would start recounting from the initial position. And so in this case, this would not be 16, it would be, again, 8, but that's not the case. So the counting still counts from the first position, but it's only going to look for, it's only going to see the T's after the initial position. So in this case, it didn't see the first T and the second T because it's only looking from the 8th position, which is the space in between. Okay, so it looks from the initial position, but it counts from the first position left to right. Okay, what if I use the find function instead of search? So the find function would return me an error. And why that? It happens because the find function is case sensitive while the search function is not. So let's go back to the search function. And again, I want Washington. Okay, as you know, it's going to work properly, okay? But this is because I'm using the search function. If I use the find function, that's not going to work because there's no Washington totally uppercase in my data set. And the find function is looking for Washington totally uppercase. And of course, it's not going to find any. But if I try like this, Washington, just the way it's written in my data set, it's going to find Washington correctly. You can see that I have a number in these, for example, 2 first rows in which I have Washington written just like this with only the first letter as uppercase. And for the remaining rows, I have 0. In this case, yeah, I have Washington, so the function is working properly. Basically, the difference between the search function and the find function is that the find function is case sensitive, while the search function is case insensitive. What if I want to use it as a measure in a visual? Right now, I'm using the function for creating a new column, but in my report view, let's create a table visual. And in this visual, I'm going to use the same columns: sales location, sales quantity, and sales amount. And suppose I want to create a new column identifying which of these stores are my stores. Okay, so I'm going to start. Let me copy this same formula, but now I'm going to create a new measure, and I'm going to call this new measure my stores, and it's going to be the same function, but you can see that there's an error here. And you can see there's an error. Okay, let me get rid of this. You can see there's an error because there's this red squiggly line here. This red squiggly line means there's something wrong in your formula. And this happens because I'm working with aggregations. And if you haven't watched our video on aggregations, please go to our Power Query Foundations course, and there's a video exclusively on aggregation. And measures work in aggregation. Measures cannot work with entire columns. In this case, I have to add a little aggregation function to make sure this column will look as an aggregation to the measure. I'm going to fool the measure and give it an aggregation function. I'm going to use, in this case, the main function. And just to make sure this measure is going to read this column as an aggregated column instead of an entire column. And now you see that the red squiggly line is gone. It means my formula is working just fine. And now my measure is created. Let me pull it in the visual. And yeah, I have zeros for, let me just reorganize this column. I'm going to click the column header. And now I can see that for those rows in which I have Washington, I have numbers. And as you know, these numbers are the position in which the Washington string starts showing up. And for the ones that have no Washington text, they are all zeros. So it's working properly, but let's improve it. Let's improve it using, let me click my measure and improve it by using the if function. So I'm going to use an if. Okay, you know what the if function does. If not, please leave a comment below and I will record a video exclusively on the if function in all of its details. Okay, I'm just incrementing, I'm just improving my find formula with the if statement, an if DAX function. And in this case, my if function is saying, okay, if this function is equal to 0, then it means I don't have Washington in my string. So in this case, return me not my store. Instead, if this function is not equal to 0, then I know this is my store. Okay, I will close the function. So again, if you want an explanation about the if function, let me know. Please leave a comment below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe to this video, and share it with your friends so we can get more people and help more people understand and learn DAX, Power Query, and Power BI. And I will hit enter, and now my function is fully functional, and I can see which of the stores are mine and which are not. And going back to the table view, when I was creating a new column, I'm going to call the new calculated column store column. And again, I'm going to use the same if function here, if. And then if the function returns me a 0, if this function returns me a 0, then this is not my store. If not, it is my store. Again, store. Okay, there you go. Now I can go back to the report view. And in this case, for some reason, I didn't delete the measure. Okay, delete from the model. Okay, there you go. Now it worked. And instead, now I'm going to add my calculated column in my visual. And now, as I have a calculated column in the visual, I can add slicer, and in my slicer, again, I'm going to add my calculated column. And now I can, for example, filter down, use the slicer to select only my stores or only those that are not my stores. So there you go. This is a way to use the search functions, the search function and the find function in DAX Power BI. Please don't forget to your thumbs up is really important for us so we can get to more people and help our channel grow and reach and help more people and to keep us motivated to keep posting this kind of content for you. I hope this video helped you. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and see you in the next lesson.